I swear, I think one of the biggest villains of all time is this hobosexual passport, bro. Wow, it doesn't matter if you've seen this show. This is 90 Day Fiance, and if there is anything I've learned from this show, you don't have to watch it. I watched it so you don't. If there's anything I've learned, is that the menace of passport bros and hobosexuals have teamed up, right? This guy, the little hobosexual, has gone global, and also it's literally preying on ladyboys too. Like there's no bounds for these guys. He checks all the boxes, including having 2 children that he seems to probably not want to pay child support to because for some reason he's just desperate to get out of the United States. It's so desperate that oh my God, y'all, I watched this reunion. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. The reason why I watched this trash is because A, it's fascinating, but B, it gives you in real time examples of how much men lie. They lie to anybody they can exploit, and they are terrible fathers, and they also will exploit any woman at all, including their ex-girlfriend, now BFF, that they will actually have bring on the show to defend you. Like, you know what? We can't fix men. We can't help them. They can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. But you know what we can do? Stop being the women who pay for these men, because this man's best friend just humiliated herself on national TV as the poster child of codependency. Chronic codependency. And the enablers out there, and I speak as a former enabler and a chronic codependent who without serious help would probably be funding this douchebag. Let me tell you something. If we don't work on ourselves, these little menaces are gonna go global even more. Do yourself a favor and do the world a favor of deal with your codependency, because my God, this man, I can't stand this man. And he just seems so nice. He's kind of likable. Despite all this, because he seems nice, that he's a villain. If there's a part of me that has a little bit of sympathy for this man, because clearly he is not dealing with some of his issues, and therefore it is coming out in the worst possible ways, but still, don't let one of these men in your life. He will ruin it! And he'll embarrass you all over TV. So I'm going to break down just the reunion part, because, I could go into a whole thing. I've watched so many hours of this show because it's fascinating. But I just want to talk about the reunion and a little backstory. And I want to show you in real time how much men lie. Show you in real time how codependent women can be and how we got to stop this. And I'll also touch on some other stuff like there's a reason why so many people in the world hate us, U.S. Americans. Because, my God, we just go out into other places and, our entitlement. Anyway, before I go any farther, please join my Patreon if you haven't already. Even if you can't afford a tier, that's how you keep up with me in case whatever app you're watching this on decides to just be banned, right? But that's where I do travel content. I do private, I talk about my private life over there because I don't like talking about it as openly anymore. And I do all my lives. I have a lot of lives coming up. I'm going to announce them soon. And I'm going to do watch party soon too. So like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notifications, do all the things, because that's what helps me be able to afford to do this work that I love doing. So thank you so much for especially Patreon people. Let's get into it. Just for a reminder of who this man is. So he lived in Las Vegas, and he only likes to date trans women, but not masculine ones, only feminine ones, which I've actually looked into, and it seems to be about something much bigger that I feel like would need its own story to explain that kind of logic. But anyway, he goes all the way to the Philippines because he wants to marry a lady boy that he's met and only been talking to for, I don't know, a few months or something like that. But the man has lied again and again and again. And when he went to the Philippines, he left his whole life behind. Okay, literally was like one-way ticket to the Philippines, thinking he was going to marry Faith, this lady boy that he met online, and he just didn't want to go back to the U.S. That is a red flag. If there is a man desperate to get out of the United States, desperate. We know it's obvious why a lot of people want to leave the U.S., especially right now. but he's desperate. And I believe it's because of child support. He doesn't want to pay child support because that's why so many men don't have driver's licenses, social security. That is literally anytime a man does not have a driver's license or somehow it can't be like go on the books for something. He has to go under the table. That man is dodging child support because Lawrence, whatever, I forget what's his butt's name. He has 2 children and his ex had his restraining order against him. Now, there were restraining orders on both ends, but anytime a man has a restraining order against them, I'm always going to assume that he is worse. This soft-spoken, like whatever man, he's a menace. And he also lied about being, oh my God, he has a penis. He shows up, admits that he is homeless, literally homeless, says it himself. Has $42 or $46 in his bank account, shows up with no money, doesn't know what he's going to do for work. He was like, I'll figure it out. Hello, as an immigrant in another country, just thinking you can easily find work wherever you are. And also, bro, you can't work legally in a lot of places without lots of immigrant stuff happening, paperwork, and a lot of waiting. Oh my God, the audacity of a white man to go to another country and just be like, I'll figure it out, and didn't even look up the laws. He didn't even look up the laws before the day before he's supposed to leave, or a couple days before, they go to a lawyer and he finds out that they can't get married in the Philippines. And he's like, crap. And basically they're like, yeah, bro, the only way this is going to work is if she goes back to the U.S. with you and, does the whole visa thing with that, which means she's going to be financially dependent on him. He's like, yeah, no, that wouldn't work. I can't afford that. He literally just went there to escape having to deal with his family that he created and basically mooch off of a trans woman in the Philippines. Imagine the audacity of a white man from the U.S. going to the Philippines to be a hobosexual. Like, that is it's wrong on so many levels. A country that has already been so screwed with colonization, right? And he's like, I'm just going to go over there and, like, she works. And I'll figure it out. And then he also shows up with a gonorrhea. And, oops, didn't tell her he'd been sleeping with other people. He knew that she wouldn't understand. He said that he was just sleeping, but he admitted in the beginning that she probably doesn't know that he's actually been, with other people. They also didn't ever talk about who was going to be top and bottom. That didn't even come up until they're in the Philippines. Very important conversation from my understanding, but whatever. This man is literally lying through omission through his teeth regularly. And this man, this smiley, seemingly innocent little boy, little Peter Pan, is a menace. Oh, and then we find out some other stuff, some deleted scenes from the season before the reunion, that he also likes to drink pee. And Faith is a little confused. So they have to Google Translate this conversation. Now, I don't like this guy, but, this was a very honest reaction. And, oopsie, it never occurred to him that getting a J from somebody could cause an STD. Every lesson he learns, like most men, is just an oopsie with a lot of trauma towards women. Not only is this dude just like forking whoever he wants, and also goes to the Philippines hoping he can convince Faith, the woman he wants to marry, to be in an open relationship, knowing that she probably wouldn't be down with that. Literally all these men, so many of these men just showed up in other countries and were like, I'm not going to tell her this really important thing, like my criminal background or that I've been doing all this. And they do this on purpose because they know if the more you invest in them, the more time, the more they can get you to fall in love with them before they drop the bomb of gonorrhea, then the less likely that you're going to feel like you can leave, or, the more you invest, the more you have to lose. So Faith has already invested a lot in this man. So she just, if he'd said that outright, she'd probably been like, nah. But he knows by waiting to tell her all these secrets, homeless, cheating on you, want an open relationship, have no job, have no money, it won't matter because she's in love. When they bring this little hobo to New York to do this, they film him talking to birds. But you know what? As somebody who worked in the film industry and also worked on some reality very, very briefly, and was on a National Geographic reality show, which I did a watch party with on my Patreon, by the way. I'm telling you, what we're seeing is never really totally real. So even what I'm discussing here, we're getting some stuff left out. But they probably were like, "Hey, talk to the birds," because so much of this stuff is actually produced. And he was just like, "I'm talking to little pigeons. I'm gonna get in a crossfire today." And then the very first conversation this man has is with this guy, the guy who went to Brazil. The guy with the criminal record he lied about. Anyway, I don't know if I have time to do this guy, but I really want to because he sucks. This guy was like, yeah, I went out, on the date. He's already talking about how it would only go if she's paying. So, like, literally, if there's one consistent message every time this guy talks is that he doesn't want to pay for things. So right out of the gate, this host asks, are y'all engaged or what? This guy's all like, yep, correct. And I love... See, she knew the right question to ask. Okay, you're engaged, but do you have a ring? Because she can read this guy as a hobosexual, I'm sure. Anybody who actually watched the show, it's like, this guy seems like he's a bum. Nope, don't have a ring in my hand. So then he goes into this whole story because we know he never lies. Okay, so what happened was, and this woman was like, oh my God, shut up. I bought a Philippines box. I've sent 5 so far because I send stuff. I definitely don't take stuff. One with the ring was picked through by who other than drug addicts. Right, bro. See, now he's he seems that, I'm not saying that this couldn't happen, but because it's him, I'm pretty sure it didn't. Because we know he lies. So now he's using like some dog whistly kind of form of, some racism to basically, it wasn't me, it was the drug addicts. Because that country with those people must be full of them. That's what he's doing here. It's so annoying. And look at her. She's like, of course. She can read this guy. She's like, oh my God, he's making this. Okay. Most rolled over off of this thing just a second ago, doing his little rotisserie chicken. But he's okay. So yeah, she didn't actually get the rings, but I definitely shipped them. How many rings? What are you talking about? You were asked about an engagement ring, and then he makes up some story about some bad guys who stole multiple rings because, God, liar. Like, she's just like, I just can't even believe it. No, like when she got the box, she dug through the box and it just wasn't there. I definitely sent it though. Me, the man who went all the way to the Philippines with $46 in my pocket, no job, admitted I'm homeless, and was desperate to get out of the Philippines because I can't afford to live in the United States. He admitted that. We're supposed to believe he bought multiple engagement rings and that some bad guys stole them. And she's just like, so do you consider yourself engaged to this man? Everyone's like, no. Like, oh, okay. Like, this man just lives in so much delusion. Okay, we're getting into it. Okay, I usually don't like the hosts of these shows. This is my favorite host of a dating reunion show that I've seen so far. And this is my first reunion of 90 Day. I haven't been watching this show very much over the years, and people have asked me to watch it, so I'm trying, and I love this host. He also called out that American dude for pronouncing the name of his girlfriend wrong the whole time. Well, in my defense, people called her one. It was a little confusing. And so this guy got really upset. I haven't watched all the couples yet. I've been following the hobosexual passport bro and the guy who went to Brazil and a little bit of everyone else's stories, but it's just too many hours. So I don't have an opinion on him yet and that couple yet because I'm at the beginning of their journey. But I like the way he called out Loren so hard. Man, he took Loren to task. He hates Loren. Now, I don't know why that is like him feeling protective of Faith or if it's about something else, because again, I don't know his story, but I like that somebody held this man, like was pushing back hard, although he was calling him evil and stuff. So I kind of feel like there's something else behind it. I don't know what that's about. Maybe y'all could tell me. Anybody who's been watching the show, why was he that upset? Was it because for like really genuine intentions of like, you are screwing over this poor woman? Because I do think he cared. Or is there something about his backstory that makes him really not like Loren? Either way, I appreciated what he did in this reunion because he just would not let Loren off the hook. And I'm here for it. He was really funny too. Either way, I'm pretty new to his story, and this guy, I feel like I should watch his story because he, like, I've only seen the first couple episodes of what he's done. He literally, like, overslept to go visit his fiance. Like, this guy does not care. He is the most low-effort mama's boy type dude, so huge red flag. Can't even learn how to pronounce his fiance's name. And I love it. She was like, nope. You were not pronouncing it right. Well, she wasn't correcting me either. So, you know, I was doing my best. That's your best? Like, imagine that guy with this woman and being like, I'm not even gonna bother learning your name. So then we kind of get back into her story and where she's coming from. She's, you know, he knows that I love him. It's very hard for me. She asked this question like, do you love him so much because he's your first real boyfriend? Is it just kind of like a trauma bond? Which is a pretty good question. It's just hard to let go. This is actually a really good point that a lot of women could learn because the hobosexual that I dated and the first man I fell in love with at the age of 36, that was not love. That was limerence. That was codependency. That was me recreating the trauma from my past. That was so many things, but it was definitely not love. But because the man had paid me some attention, had really done all of these, had cooked for me, had done all these things that got me attached to him, it was so hard to let this man go, even though he was such a loser. Oh my God, he's like the worst person. But I was like addicted to him. And so it wasn't about love. It was about all of my own stuff, right? And also having been so manipulated. So Loren has been manipulating this woman for a really long time. And that's on him. But I do believe that Faith keeps falling for it because she's in a really difficult situation in her country. She's in a very difficult financial situation and supporting her family. She's a lady boy, so which means that she is discriminated against constantly. She has just had so much rejection and cruelty in her life, especially around being rejected and not accepted and loved and all of these things, that she thought this man loved her. She thought she finally found someone who loved and accepted her, and boy is she wrong, because this man is just a hobosexual. That's it. He just wants a visa. He just wants to not have to pay child support and have a low cost of living. And that is what I'm telling you, so many of these American dudes are doing. They're leaving the US so they can go exploit women that they have power over because of their passport, because of their buying power, because the United States, the salaries are way higher, but the cost of living is also way higher. So they go somewhere cheap with the big salary. But the thing is that Loren doesn't even have a big salary. That's what's so crazy about this. He doesn't even have access to money. He's going over there to exploit her and her money. Like, this one blows my mind, y'all, because the level of entitlement behind this one and the level of delusion and cruelty is just next level. She's like, you really think this is true love? You know, and she says, I'm just drawn to the relationship because I just want it to be true love and to be love. And that is a very relatable statement and sentiment, but that is what causes so many women, what are you doing? So much pain and so much trauma, and literally gets us unalived and financially ruined, if not unalive. This is what gets us, y'all. And, you know, again, I don't know what it's like to be a trans woman, but B, in a country where it is like illegal and there's all these other elements that make it even harder. Like, I do not know what it's like to have to be so discriminated against just in the dating world and so I imagine if I were in her shoes, I probably would really want this to work out. But a big part of that, besides her own personal traumas around all that stuff, is this man using his privilege, being from the United States and being white, to manipulate this woman, giving her false hope. So anyway, she goes on to say, it's hard to find people to accept her for who she is. I'm a ladyboy and no one's loved me. And she said that in some of the interviews on the show, and she went into that more detail, and I can do a deeper dive on them. I just kind of wanted to summarize them, and what a menace this man is. So then he starts asking her some hard questions. Loren has shown you who he is. Believe him. So the host asks, elaborate, please. So then he goes into the whole scene at the end. When Loren was so for those who didn't watch this dude, as soon as he realized he can't move to her country, which again, he never bothered looking this up. He just had a friend. He said he had a couple friends who had, gone to the Philippines and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, bro, are you so lazy you won't even Google? Or you have to research this stuff a lot. As somebody who's been through the immigration in Spain and in France, I am telling you, I have spent hundreds of hours investigating all this crap, getting information. But even a simple Google search would have shown him, they didn't even need to go to a lawyer to figure some of this out. But he's like, my friend said. So he does all this, goes over there, and then is pissed at the end that he can't move in with her and mooch off of her and live in her home because he doesn't have one. So the last night, he's doing some weird stuff. He's so frustrated. He's being very cold to her. He's got a knife, and he's just imagine this is a knife, and he's just doing this. And whatever, maybe it's a nervous tick, maybe it's whatever. I'm ADHD, okay? So I'm always doing weird stuff with my body and whatever. But when a man does that in a room alone, with you, and there's a camera crew there, but she was very uncomfortable. And he's smashing beer cans and stuff. He was clearly, because this is the nice guy who seems to have a lot of anger, but won't admit it. And I say this as a white woman who has been taught that I'm not allowed to be angry, but then, so when it does come out, it causes a lot of harm if I don't understand my privilege and be careful about who I'm around, whoever I have power over. If I don't check what's going on in me, it is going to be lashed out at people who unfairly, right? There's a whole history behind it. That's why we have the word Karen. Although white men have turned that into white men ruined the legitimacy of that term. But this guy reminds me of Southern white women. Just, everything's good. I don't understand. Even though in rage or just delusion or I don't understand why. Why can't we do this? Why? And then he finally on the last night was pissed he wasn't going to get his way. Pissed he couldn't exploit this woman from the Philippines, a lady boy on top of that, who does not financially be able to support this dude. He started making threatening gestures. He's like, yeah, it would have ended there for me. First, Lauren's like, oh, is that how it looks? Yeah, that's how it looks. Lauren, do you hear yourself talk? And they're just showing reactions of other people. But Lauren's like, yeah, I do. He's like, I don't think you do. Because if you did, you wouldn't say some of the things you're saying. And then he's like, I don't think you take this seriously. You're taking this all like it's some joke, which is what he does. Then this guy chimes in. He's like, yeah, it's the way you smile and you laugh about all this. And in Laura's defense, I do understand that he clearly has communication problems. As somebody who used to laugh all the time instead of say what I mean, I get that. I literally, when people would ask me anything, I'd be like, ha ha ha, and then I'd answer. Y'all don't know how, I used to be super shy and literally not say what I mean. So this person you're getting right now is decades of work on how to communicate in a healthy way, how to even know what I'm feeling, how to say what I mean and mean what I say, right? I used to do that So again, he's just like, it's just a nervous thing I do. He's like, yeah, but you're seeing her crying and emotional. And he's like, yeah, but I smile. He's like, everybody's trying to communicate this guy. Bro, when she is all upset and crying and you're just like, it's weird. And again, that part of me that can relate to that person who's so afraid of conflict, I used to be so afraid of conflict that it felt like my life was being threatened if there was conflict, right? Given now what I've processed about my past, it makes sense. But people who are afraid of conflict are very dangerous people to be around because we will create so much confusion and chaos from our codependency and our whatever it's rooted in. I don't know if this man's codependent, and I'm literally just telling you my story. I think this guy always seems it's more sinister than that. But I also like to think people aren't just born this way, that there's so much happening. So I do believe that he believes that he cares, and he's laughing because he's nervous. I think he's laughing because he's nervous of conflict, and I don't think he cares about her. He just cares about himself. I'm smiling because I don't like it. It's just something that happens. I mean, again, this poor woman, what I do like about this show is and again, we're not seeing it all. We're seeing an edited version. But, I really like Faith. I love her sense of humor. She is whip smart with some of her comebacks. She seems to really care about her family. And I don't know, I really like her, which is why I hate Loren even more. So when asked if people thought that she should be with him, I mean, everybody was like, no. I think they all raised their hands. And he was like, absolutely hell to the bleep, no. All of them were like, no. They literally took votes. And look, he's got both hands up. So again, he's very protective of her. Everybody, even all the people who were not there but were on camera, all thought they should not be together. Loren, you don't have very many supporters here. And yeah, as she's off camera, it says, it seems like it was lie after lie after lie after lie. Here's one thing and then has to process that. And the next day, it's another, which is exactly how it went down. Every day, this man had a new really huge secret or just straight up lie that she had to process. And this is how they get you, y'all. They wear you down. They're like, whoop, by the way, can we do an open relationship? Whoa, what? And then, oh, by the way, I got gonorrhea. Oh, by the way, I cheated. By the way, I'm homeless. By the way. Oh, and then some thieves, some thugs stole your ring that I never sent. So I love the way that this blonde woman, I forget her name, is very protective of her too. I like that she had people who were defending her and just don't like this dude and were really challenging him. It's just keep blow after blow. Now, I didn't really watch her story either, so I have to catch up. So I don't know, maybe she's a villain too. I don't know, whatever. No one is really a villain. We're all a little villain and a little hero. But some, I feel like Loren is so far in the I'm just so selfish mode that even any empathy that I have for him is immediately squashed by the impact of his selfishness on others, especially Faith. And even she even says, there's just only so much a person can handle. And bro, you are just next level traumatizing this woman. And then Brian comes in there. Again, I'm not a fan of Brian. Try to coerce the Brazilian woman that he was engaged to. I liked her too. I really liked her. Try to coerce her. Well, I haven't finished their story, but I really don't like Brian. And he's all like, sounds like he's your only option. And if you feel you cut that off, now you go back to being alone and being lonely. And see, this is how men tell on themselves. Because Brian, I'm coming for you because you're the one who's afraid of being lonely. How many times you been married? This man has been married so many times. And then 5 times, I forget. I said it in the last video. And engaged to other women. This dude is also a passport hobosexual because he wants someone to take care of him and just really wants to live in Brazil. It seems like this man, all he does is exploit women. Exploit. And he doesn't know how to be alone. So he's asking Faith, is it because you just don't know how to be alone? You don't want to be alone and he's your only option? Which again, there's some truth to him being her only option because of all of this discrimination and transphobia and all the things that she deals with on a regular basis. But we're not like you, bro. Even women who are afraid to be alone, it doesn't come from the place that men like you are afraid to be alone. Because our solitude is not about just not being able to oppress and exploit somebody all the time. Which is what most men who are not deconstructing patriarchy, theirs is really about. And their inability to connect with other men or humans in general because of how they're socialized and not fixing that, which is a choice. So she's like, no, I'm not. I'm not scared to be alone because I'm alone. I just want to be happy. And again, it's like Faith is so relatable on so many levels, even though I've never experienced the level of trauma that this woman has been through with her lived experiences. She is so relatable because at the end of the day, which is why women keep dating. We want to, especially because it's been shoved down our throat for so long. Love, romantic love, where it used to just be a business arrangement for so long. And now it's all about love, but it's so hard for us to find men who truly love us because you can't love someone you're exploiting, and most men are exploiting us. right? Just like any human, you want love. And romantic love is like the cherry on top. But so few women can find that because of men's entitlement and their misogyny gets in the way. And then the other guy was like, you don't look happy right now. And then she goes back to that last night together when he was doing the thing with the knife that I mentioned before. And she's like, you don't think that was bad? No, we were just sitting there for, it was like half an hour. And that's when this guy really challenges her, like, you don't think that was bad? You couldn't do anything but just stab your hand with a butter knife over and over? And then Brian, this guy chimes in, again tells on himself. All right, wait. I don't think that was so bad. Being in a room with a man who is doing this with a knife and then crushing cans, and women who've been around enough men, or, right, pretty soon born into patriarchy, we sense this, but the longer we're around, the more we get really good at radar. Danger, bear, bear's coming out. She felt it in that room. She felt that quiet rage, and he couldn't hide it with his crushing things or whatever, or he chose not to hide it, but she sensed it. And Brian's all like, what? I don't get it. Granted, Brian used to be in a gang, from what I understand, and got shot. I thought Faith overreacted. Of course you did, Brian. You, a hobosexual who judges Loren. But you can relate on this one because you don't think that men's anger is threatening at all. Unless what? He's literally stabbing her? Like, come on. She just overreact. He was just, tapping and fidgeting, like all of us do when we have knives. And he's like, yeah, I was tapping on the table. And then he's like, nope, I think you know exactly what it looked like. And so then he just starts to call him out on everything. I think you do stuff just to make people mad. And that's a form of power. Now, he may be saying this as somebody who has, lived in the United States and understands how racism plays out. It's not just in the United States, but they're both from the United States. And he knows exactly what white people do, being on the receiving end of that. And he's like, I don't understand. Why would I want to make people mad? I'm just a little boy. He's like, I don't know. That's what I want to know. Why do you want to make people mad? Why are you exerting this power? And then she chimes in, you slept with everybody all the time and you lie. This is one of the things I love about having friends from all over the world, especially when English is their second language, because they're very direct. The same way I'm way more direct here in France because I can't find the words to soften the blow and to be more passive aggressive. So I just have to be direct. I have no choice, and it's been so good for my healing of codependency because I can't just beat around the bush, especially in France, because they're just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to be like, well, maybe, So then they go into this whole debate about him cheating and how he's like, no, that guy, he goes to this whole thing being like, I never said, I never lied. I just never said I was, blah, blah, blah. It was ridiculous. I can't even go through all this. It's so stupid. I love it when they cut to her because she's like, He's like, look, I had smacks with people. And I explained it in text, which I have proof on my phone. But somehow she just didn't understand. It got misconstrued. Although he admitted in the beginning that, and if you want me to go deeper into the longer part of the relationship, I can show y'all exactly how this man did this over time. He admitted that he knew being vague, which is the big lesson of this whole video. When men are vague, they're lying to you. Okay? If you don't take anything else, let me know if you actually get this far. Vague. Bang, 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 vague. I don't even know if you're getting this far. But that is the lesson if you listen to nothing else here. When they're being vague or dodging a question, they're lying. And he claims that she was aware that he was forking all those people. But she wasn't. So they're like, were you telling her that you were sleeping with other people? And hoping it got lost in the semantics, and that's exactly what that was. Let me tell you something. Another reason why it is more dangerous to date a foreign man, where your first languages are not the same necessarily, is because you're already going to have so many confusing conversations. My husband and I got in a fight over one word, and he speaks very good English, almost native level English. And one day he said, he said something like, well, don't pout. And I was like, excuse me? What did you say? And he was like, pout. I was like, do you know what that word means? And he was like, and he explained what he thought it meant. But he did not understand the context. In the United States, the word pout is associated only with children and infants. He did not understand that. He thought it meant like pull back, and because I do that all the time. I'll just go silent if I'm like really flustered or pissed and I need to think about it before I say something. But that word, you know what I mean? Like him and I have a very healthy relationship with really good communication, and one word set off like a nuclear bomb, that we then had to like, and we resolved it quickly because I was like, hold on a second. I knew to ask, what do you think pout means? Because I could tell on his face, he was like, wait, why is she so upset right now? I am telling you that men are already going to lie to you and manipulate you and try to trick you a lot. Unless they are working on themselves and working on patriarchy, they're going to get what they want to get, how they want to get it, to do the least amount of work with the most amount of exploitation, right? Of labor, bodies, everything. And so guess what happens when there's also a convenient language barrier there? They will pick and choose words knowing that it could easily get misconstrued. And I love that she pointed this out. And then he claims, he told her he was sleeping with friends. But I believe he knew that she doesn't understand that sleeping at a friend's house and sleeping with friends, like, bro, shut up. Like she was doing this the whole reunion and she was basically gesturing what all of us were thinking. So she constantly had to ask like very and precise, intentional questions so that Loren couldn't just keep being like, blah, 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 blah. Did he tell you that he was having sex with all these people? And then she's like, I don't know if I can remember. Imagine being so manipulated that you can't see you don't know what's up and what's down anymore, because this man believes the lies he tells himself, or if doubles down on the lies he tells her so bad that she's now questioning, because on the show, she was very surprised that he was sleeping with people. She had no idea. And now she's like, wait, did he text that? You know what I mean? And then, he conveniently doesn't have the proof anymore, though, because the night they broke up, he deleted all the messages on his phone. Yeah, right. No ring that thieves took, and no messages to prove for this conversation because, he was so upset. And she's deleted the messages because the day he was playing with the knife, she deleted everything and blocked him. Apparently, she's unblocked him. And y'all, remember, this is what men who do terrible things will always say. From Robert Downey Jr. to James Franco to whoever, they all say this. Yeah, I made mistakes. They all make mistakes, They're just human. This is always what they say. It's so predictable. It's just not true. We all make mistakes. But this is how they avoid accountability. I'm just a little boy learning my lessons. So this is the point where they bring a friend out to verify, to back up Loren and his ridiculousness, shed some light on it for everybody. So as she's introducing Esther, it's like, oh my God. He even says, I am so sorry for you. Because if Loren treats it like a woman he's been with an online relationship this bad right out of the gate, there's no telling what he does to this woman. So she starts asking her some questions. So you said that Loren jumps into relationships too quick. Why do you think that is? He's trying to find love. So, okay, what we're going to witness now is a woman. This is a woman who we are going to see in real time how a woman will lie to herself to cover for a man that she's enabling. This is what every woman who's with an addict, this is the kind of stuff that we say. This is what any woman who's dating a terrible man will say. And this is what a woman who is enabling a son, a brother, a father, or their partner, this is the kind of stuff we say. Right? She's going to be like, well, all of his intent, he's just a da-da-la, right? He's trying to find love. Because if she actually saw and admitted to herself that this man is a hobosexual and he exploits as many women as he needs to for money, she would realize that she is also a victim of this hobo. But she goes in this, he's kind of been like, all right, if it doesn't work with this one, he's already got a backup plan. You know who dates like that? Hobosexual. Men who don't actually care about women because they just need a woman. Just like, what's his butt? Forgot his name already. Brian, who went to Brazil, who's been married so many times. Like, him and Loren are two peas in a pod. So she's just like, yeah, he's always got his options open. And whoever will let him move in and mooch off of him, he is going to fall in love quickly. And there's the saying, and I don't know who said it first, but no man will follow loving quicker than a man who doesn't have a home. I love that she's not buying any of this. So she's like, yeah, once he finds someone he's love, it's like, no more, me and you, that's it. And then she points out that that's what Faith said. Because this friend is trying to be like, no. I mean, he falls in love quickly, but as soon as he finds someone who really loves him, then he's all in. And she's like, but Faith was all in. And then she defends him. It's like, Faith never said that until he got there, until he actually brought up the news that he had the nasty. You are humiliating yourself. And she points out, he's just sleeping around with everybody to have backup. Because again, that's what he told us. He never wanted a monogamous relationship. He said that in the first episode he was in. He wanted an open relationship. He was hoping to talk Faith into an open relationship. He has never wanted one. And he even indicated that he wasn't sure if he'd be okay not having one, but he'd see how it goes. All of his backups is a man who doesn't want to commit, doesn't want to put anything into it, wants all the things that he can extract, have as many options as possible, and also now avoid child support by living in another country so he can exploit a woman who has so much more hardship to deal with. And he's like, yeah, cool, I'll just live here. And the way she's just saying, this woman is like, So someone asked outright, did Faith know what was going on? Well, I mean, he just kind of I'm sleeping at this person's house. He goes in this whole thing. It's all nonsense. This woman just keeps saying all this crap. They go back and forth. I'm not going to show all the screen. Niles is like, so Loren, if nobody tells you to walk off a cliff. Loren's like, I would walk off a cliff. Why haven't you that then? I have. He's like, what? Oh, we used to have this really cool cliff and we'd drive our truck and she's like, oh my God. I mean, if I meant that, I would just, I would legitimately walk off a cliff. This is when men threaten to harm themselves. Like, oh my God, if you break up with me, I'm going to end my life. They are manipulating you. I've done videos on this. Let me know if you want that video. They are literally, my ex was threatened to jump off the bridge in Taos all day the first time I tried to break up with him. I called my friend Liz. She goes, let him. And I didn't listen to her. I was like, no, but he's going to. Then they say all this dramatic crap because they know that they can weaponize our empathy and our, oh, poor little boy, whenever they're in trouble. We're always going to be worried, especially if you have a lot of codependency and you had to kind of caretake men from an early age. You will always put worrying about him over worrying about yourself. So they will throw out, oh, I have an illness. Oh, I'm gonna unalive myself. All this stuff. Oh God, I should do this video. I have a whole video with receipts of the texts I would get from my ex. I've been shot in the stomach. All this stuff every time I try to break up with them because that's what they're doing. Oh, yeah. They get real dramatic and they call us dramatic. And he's like, have you done that yet though? Well, I have. Yeah. Everybody is just like, dude, shut up. Stop lying. And he tries to go in and say, yeah, I used to jump off. Yeah, I have too, bro. I jumped off of a cliff into a river before. It was fun. Shut up. He goes into this whole thing and she's like, okay, stop. I love it. She was like, oh my God, enough. This is the most ridiculous conversation. And this is how men will wear you out. This dude seems like such a narcissist. And I don't throw that word around that much. Because, a lot of men act like narcissists. They're not literal, but this man, the way he argues is very similar to a narcissist. Blah, distract, drama, blah, blah, blah. And you can't have a conversation without feeling crazy. So after she asked them to all reel it in a little bit, she's like, Loren does give me a headache. And again, I want, the way she talks about this man is the way somebody talks about their kid brother or even their child. And anytime you're in a friendship with a man that you talk like this about, because he's just so hopeless and helpless and, you just feel so sorry for him, he is exploiting you. What are you getting out of that relationship? So many women have friendships like this and partners like this. If you feel sorry for your partner, you don't love him. If you feel sorry for your partner, you don't love him because you can't, not in that way. You have like maternal love, which is codependency because that person's an adult. But unless you are literally their caretaker, you know what I mean? Unless you are their parent, unless you are maybe their older sister, that man, you can't have a healthy relationship with somebody that is exploiting you. That's one thing to help friends out. But this, he is more dangerous and he is causing more harm, but I wouldn't say she's as sick as him, but she needs help. And I say this as someone who can relate to this. I literally didn't leave my abusive ex because I felt sorry for him. At the end, I hated him so much and I still stayed because I was planning to get out. But even leaving, it was so hard because I felt sorry for him. If you feel sorry for your partner or your friend, that's why you help so much. You need to get help for codependency. Seriously. So I'm saying this as someone, I can spot this because I can relate to this. And this is the thing that literally almost took my life. And it endangered a lot of people, especially women. Because enablers of men who exploit people like Loren does, guilty. Ask any woman who's had a mom who protected a man that was SAing that child or whatever. Women who cape for men, enable men, who are enmeshed with men, cause so much harm. Yes, because of patriarchy. Yes, because of maybe their own abuse. Yes, that doesn't mean that they don't still cause harm. She's causing a lot of harm here. She literally went on the show to try to make him not look as bad. Everybody was going after this guy. And then she's like, no, but he's just a poor, silly man. You know, there's a few times where I'm just like, damn it, Loren. Like, and this guy's like, it's almost easier to like, he's like, yeah, but it's like, so if there's like a pyramid scheme, he's going to fall for it and lose all his money. What money though? What money? He doesn't have money. Any money he has, it's probably because you're giving it to him or a woman. And whose fault is that? Love to hear it. And then she goes after him. I'm sorry that he's not street smart. What did you mean by that? See, this is when her white womanness is just kind of peeking out. You know, she's defending this white man and she's like, well, I'm sorry he's not street smart. Like that could be an innocent statement, but who she's saying it to makes me like as soon as that came out, I was like, oh, watch out, up. Because, you know, he was like, so the host rings it back in and is like, okay, let's just get some facts here. Loren, when you went to the Philippines, you had a one-way ticket, right? Did you buy that ticket specifically to see Faith? And this is the part, y'all. No, it was a part of a pyramid scheme. He didn't even go to the Philippines to be with her. He went to the Philippines to be with another woman who was a scam. So that doesn't mean that this man can't get scammed. But it's the fact that he is so desperate to get out of the United States, to go move to the Philippines, to be with a lady boy, so he doesn't have to pay child support and doesn't have to pay this high cost of living and can exploit a trans woman abroad. Like, this guy is a hobosexual who preys on trans women in countries that have been colonized and are like, you know what I mean? This is like the perfect example of like colonizer mindset, male entitlement, and all of these things, right? And then she explains again, and this is how she feels so sorry for him, because everything he does to cause harm, it's not his fault though, because, you know, he's just gullible. Do you know all men are gullible though? Every man falls for like, and it's about their ego, honestly. Anyway, I'm not saying that women can't be gullible too, obviously. That's why, how is it that we're still, like, in this situation? They've been pulling one over on us, right? But sometimes when I see men get scammed, I'm like, good for you. Good for you. It almost feels like a rebalance anyway. So, he's this trans woman scammed him and was like, I'm so in love with you. Then he bought that ticket for love so he could get married to be with her. Again, because he wants a visa, not because of love. And, that pretty much took all his money that he doesn't really have. So, Faith, did you know all this? So anyway, she also elaborates on this whole story. I'm so frustrated by this woman. Tells the whole story. He said that, she said I was in love with you. He's like, oh my God, my dream came true. And again, his dream is to have a woman take care of him, not to be in love. He doesn't know how to love women because he doesn't know how to do anything but exploit us. She said, buy the ticket. We're going to do this. We're going to start our life. Bought that ticket for love so he can get married and be with her. Oh, and she wasn't actually trans. She was faking it. We don't see much of her in this the first part of the reunion, but I still love watching her face. Yeah, she just lied and was kind of like, pretty much took all his money. It was a marriage scam. And this lady disappears, the scammer. And then he's like, well, I still have a ticket to the Philippines. Why not find a woman online to lie to and scam so I can still go over there? Because I got to go find real love, right? And then I just happen to start talking to Faith. The timing is so magical, isn't it? Again, there's no man will fall in love faster than a man without a place to stay. So, Faith, did you know all this? Still not clear about how much but she knew that he said that some woman owes him money. And they're like, just give me the timeline. At what point did you meet Faith? Probably a few days later. So he gets scammed, has a ticket, and then a few days later, my guess is that day he was on there on the apps trying to find a woman to scam. He's a scam artist. Hobosexual. Back to the drawing board. Then she comes with another good question. Is it that you really love Faith? Or is she checking off the trans Filipino checklist? Anybody who would fit that would qualify. No, Faith has something amazing. I love Faith for Faith. Look what he says. She works hard, which is great. That is a big red flag. If a man says that he loves, talks about to you or to other people and says what he loves about you is that you are so generous. You work hard. You're so nice. You're so loyal. Big red flag. I think she's beautiful, right? Doesn't say she's beautiful. He says, I think she's beautiful, which is kind of a really backhanded compliment. Because in that statement, it's almost like he's saying I know that y'all probably don't think I think she's, I'm just saying, I know it sounds like I'm overanalyzing this, but I'm telling you, men say so much with their word choice. I just think if we work together, we could have a really cool future together. It could be hunky-dory, awesome sauce. The reason why he has a friend who's a mom is because he talks he literally talks like a teenager. She asks a few more questions. How long has it been since you've seen Faith in person? 11 months. You screwed anybody else during the 1 week apart? Well, I did. With the girl who gave me gonorrhea. You can't make this up. Joe, who's out. You went back to the guy. Everybody's like, what is wrong with you? That person who gave you an STD because they didn't disclose that people you never learn. I love it when they cut to the reactions. I love it so much. So I just feel bad for Faith because she looks really bad in this because she's clearly keeps still can't let this guy go. And they're like, did you know he was sleeping with other people? I don't want to think about it. I just really want to think about positive things because he's been so good. Someone's like, does it bother you? With the person who gave him gonorrhea, though? You're just skimming past that. So then his friend comes in and being like, I feel like a lot of people go back to their ex. You're telling me every one of you has never been back to an ex? Nope. Face is it's complicated. Because in the one way, it's good. There's good things. And, I see a lot more bad than good. It's hard to give up on your first love. So then the host says that, here's a scene. Even though, Loren was open about his whole sex life stuff, here's some stuff we didn't show. The house is I can't stomach anymore about this guy. He's nasty. Go into this whole thing about, the gonorrhea and how he found this out, which we've seen, and says this line. Then they go to this thing about drinking pee. Loren's she knows I drink pee. Look at this. Esther comes in and says, if she said stop, he will stop instantly. I know him. I'm going to vouch for him because I dated him a long time ago and I'm his mommy now. Then they start asking questions about this pee thing. Like, do you send pee in exchange? No. So this has to do with when a girl, beep, beep, the reaction to this, that's when you drink it. And she's like, oh my God, are you talking about squirting? This conversation is I highly suggest if you have access to this show, just watch this conversation. It's nuts. They have this huge debate over whether squirt is or not. By the way, I haven't talked about squirting. During my little Tinder bender, I actually finally realized I can do it. I didn't think I could, but I can. Anyway, sorry, unrelated. She's just like, oh my God, are we debating squirting right now? This is the best. They're back and forth. It's pee. No, it's not. It just goes on and on, y'all. And Sean's just like, okay. And then they just like break away from it. And they send her backstage. So y'all, I don't even know if I have it in me to go into any more of this interview. There's one more thing that happened, and I'm not going to show you clip by clip because this is already long enough, where Brian just assumes that Faith only wants his money, even though this man has no money. Brian, again, it's always projection. Brian assumes that it's all about, just like a passport bro. Oh, all these bitches want my money. And that must be what Faith is in it for. That's what Brian's in it for. At one point, he's all like, I mean, is this really because you're going to lose, support for your family and all this stuff? He's basically accusing her of being a gold digger without saying those words. And they get this whole conversation about how much money that this hobo has sent Faith. He throws out this figure, 8,000 to 10,000. And this guy's like, what? I wouldn't send that bitch or anything because I'm a scam. So like, is that true? She says no. And then he's like, well, how much did I send you the first time? Like, I sent 2,000, 8,800. There was another couple hundred. I forget who says that he have the money. He's rich. I forget who says. He says, I eat out of the garbage. I continue to send money. Just quit eating a long time ago. This is all lie. Okay, first of all, he claims he sent her $10,000 and some wedding rings, multiple engagement rings. But when he just listed the times he sent money, he only said 2,000 once, 800 once, and 200. That to me is $3,000. So I do not believe he sent that much money. I'm not sure if he's really sent much at all. If he is, it's a bribe. So she'll marry him. I didn't ask him to send me money. He pipes in, yeah, no one's questioning if you spent his money. They're questioning if you thinks this person's insane or they love you because it's crazy. I mean, I don't like this guy, but every once in a while, I'm kind of like, I'm telling you, I have boxes in my house with all kinds of stuff I'm sending to her and all these rings that just get robbed. What's in the boxes? Cleaning supplies, kitchen stuff. Like, what? He comes in with, the thing is that she's putting up with all this bull because she knows she's getting all the good packages from. He's calling her a gold digger. They go back and forth about whether this is a scam. I'm not calling this a scam even. It's one person putting up with BS. She's benefiting from all these packages. And again, this is a man who doesn't understand how much women put up, how much women's labor, even though it is not valued financially the way it should. This man thinks, oh, you know what? Loren is sending cleaning supplies. You know what? She's the scammer. She's the scammer now. God, I hate Brian now. I'm definitely going to do, let me know if you want to hear about Brian. I'm going to do a deep dive on Brian. She goes, what, isn't every relationship like that? She laughs. Anyway, the point is, these passport bros, Brian, Loren, don't believe anything they say. Anything that they think that they are doing, they're sacrificing. They all think that everyone in the world wants to be with them. They're the prize. But they also secretly know the only reason why any women want to be with some of them is because of their money. And you know what? If some women are in countries where they are barely surviving, yeah, go for it. It's dangerous. I wouldn't suggest it because these dudes are so dangerous. But you know what? I am never going to judge a woman who actually is a gold digger, given that we live in a patriarchy and women don't get paid the same and we put up with endless crap. And some women literally have no choice. No choice. Around the world, some women have no choice. But these gold digging men, so entitled, and think they're the prize and hate the women who are doing exactly what they themselves are doing. I really think we are going to see a surge in these hobosexuals and passport bros and passport bro hobosexuals, right? Because, you know, even though, and even in France, the incomes here in France are like a third or less than the average income in the US. Like, it is like people get, and in Europe in general, the wages are way lower, right? But healthcare and all of it, we have that social safety net. So a lot of these people from the US will go to other countries where the social safety net exists, and they bring their high income. And so they're already doing that, but what is it even more menacing and even more insulting and ridiculous and entitled is men coming from countries where that have the association of being wealthy if you come from that country, but they're not. So they're riding on the coattails of like the American passport, like, hey, I'm American. And women are like, oh my God. Especially if they're in countries where they're really struggling financially because of the situation, because of, you know, the effects of colonization for so long, and also being a woman in these countries. And these men know that women want security. And this is life and death for some women. But broke men are using their passport to manipulate, exploit, and have power over other women. But when they do it and they don't even have money, they don't even have money. They're like him exploiting her with money when he comes. The only thing he has to offer, literally, is the mirage, the idea that he has stability and financial security, and he doesn't have that. And even so, you know what, if he doesn't, then okay, let me live in your country. Nope, can't afford you. This is honestly, it's like, this is so insulting. A broke passport bro, a broke hobosexual is like next level of exploitation. I'm telling you, that is what they are all about. If they are not deconstructing patriarchy, they will exploit you. Even if they love you, but they're not deconstructing patriarchy, they are going to try to get every single thing for free out of you, because that's what they've been taught. They didn't earn it, but that's what they deserve just for being a man. So I highly recommend never dating or messing with a man who doesn't understand even the base level what patriarchy is about, because that man's going to exploit the crap out of you. He will. Anyway, let me know if you want another 90-day fiance breakdown. These take a lot of time, a lot of energy, and they don't always do so well. So it's like kind of going to the casino. If you like this, please comment, share, like, whatever. Please join my Patreon. Even if you can't afford it, there's a free tier, but that's where I do a lot of work over there, and that's paying my bills. Anyway, thanks for being here, and let me know if you heard the comment song. Comment song, comment song, comment song, comment song, Portugal edition. Comment song, comment song, comment song, comment song, Porto edition. And I lived in Spain as an English teacher. I went down to Porto because it's not that far and it's pretty and kind of gothy. I'm 40 years old here and just had moved to Europe. Porto, comment song. In case you're new here, I just sing a random song after everything. Join my Patreon to hear more travel stories of all over the place, not just France. Comment song, Porto, comment song, pretty buildings. This is a coffee shop, yeah, like what the hell, like chandeliers, yeah, coffee shop. I think maybe I already showed this photo. I can't remember. I'm on a boat. Hey, boat. I'm on a boat, yeah. Porto, comment song. That bridge is made by the dude who also designed the Eiffel Tower. Comment song is ending soon. Tap. A comment. Let me know if you heard the Porto comment song. Et voila.